Hey, shalom everyone. This is Amir Tsarfati from home here in Galilee. And let me give you a short update. First of all, 30 minutes ago, the Israeli military began a surprise exercise that includes the entire country. Exercise for the readiness of the civilian area and much more than that. I actually posted the entire announcement of the Israeli military spokesman on my Telegram channel. So if you don't have Telegram, download Telegram, find my channel and subscribe. Again, the Israeli military, as of 30 minutes ago, began a surprise readiness exercise. Now, that is following a very, very interesting rhetorics over the last 24 hours. The defense minister, Benny Gantz, in the United States received, listen to this, a green light for Israel to start preparation for attack in Iran. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Amir, why would you even say that online? And why would they say that publicly? Well, the pressure is on because the negotiations with Iran are at the final stage and everybody's bracing for a complete collapse of the talks. Iran is on the verge of becoming nuclear, and you must understand there are certain levels. First, you have to have enough enriched uranium, which is where they are. Next, you have to put that in your missiles. So because it's nice to have your nuclear weapon, but you need to carry it. You need to make it, of course, mobilized. So Iran is not at the stage where it already has a nuclear device that can be already attached to any missile. Iran is at the stage where it has enough enriched uranium and it can convert it into what it needs. So this is the point. If you don't attack now, if you don't stop it now, if you don't do something, sabotage, do something now, it'll be too late later. Okay, so this is the first thing. Second thing you need to know, and that's why it's important that, do me a favor, share it right now. Share means press the share button. The second thing you need to know is this. The Israeli Mossad vowed not to allow Iran to have nuclear bomb. Now, the Mossad is not military. The Mossad is doing covert operations, which means that in the next, I would say, few weeks, a lot of stuff is going to explode in Iran without Israel having to send a single F-16, a single F-35, a single attack helicopters or whatever it is. We've got enough infrastructure on the ground. We've got thousands of Mossad operatives, locals that are collaborating, and we even have scientists, nuclear scientists that are working for the Mossad. So expect some major things to happen without Israel attacking. A Russian expert said yesterday, and the Russians are following this whole thing very carefully. A Russian expert said today that Israel will not strike Iran because if Iran will strike back, Israel is too small. Unlike Iran, which is huge, Israel is too small. I mean, it's enough to have several precise missiles hitting their targets that the whole country will, not be able to stand anymore. So basically, what happened is the Russians are convinced that the Israelis will not go on a military action against Iran. Now, I want you to know that the Iranians are hearing that the Israelis are preparing. The Americans don't want any surprises. They still hope for a miracle around the table of negotiations. And Israel has only a few weeks to decide whether they're going to accept the bomb, which means the nuclear device will already be prepared and matching a missile, or we will stop it from happening. So the next few weeks, ladies and gentlemen, if it was 2020, I believe it was 2020 that began with the killing of Soleimani, if you remember. I wonder how the beginning of 2022 is going to be. A lot is going to happen. Now, make sure you also know that the Iranian people are not exactly with the Iranian regime. It's very easy right now to actually recruit people in Iran. Even within the Iranian security forces, there is a great competition between the Revolutionary Guards and the regular police, the regular Secret Service, the regular intelligence service, the regular military. It's like the Ayatollahs built a parallel military to the already existing military. So what's going to happen is very, very interesting in the next few weeks. But remember, no matter what happened, Israel cannot afford a military strike, but only covert operations such as Mossad operations. And Iran cannot afford attacking Israel all by itself. And that is why I want to always direct you to the prophet Ezekiel's words, because Iran eventually will be part of a major strike against Israel. But that strike will not be stopped by America. It will not be stopped by Israel. It will not be stopped by Europe. It will not be stopped by anyone but the Lord God of Israel. In other words, it will be a major attack that only supernatural intervention of the God of Israel will stop it from happening. Now, if you follow my Telegram channel, you'll see the rhetorics. You'll see also the admission of the Americans indirectly that Israel already was in charge of a couple of the latest explosions in Iran's nuclear program. The Mossad, I believe, will receive the green light to begin, literally begin an all-out war on Iranian soil without having to send real, F-16s, F-35s, and all of that. In other words, there's going to be a lot of things happening in the next few weeks. I have sources in Iran. I have sources in Turkey. I have sources in Azerbaijan. I have sources in other places around. And this is why and I have Israeli sources that have sources, which is probably most of what I have. And so my Telegram channel will be 24/7 working on giving you updates on what is really going on. Okay? Again, surprise military exercise right now in Israel to check the readiness of the civilian population. I reported I think a couple of weeks ago, that we've never seen so many exercises for the civilian population. Exercises of how you handle a missile attack and all of that. This surprise exercise began 30 minutes ago. And again, you read the rhetorics that we hear from Iran, rhetorics that we hear from the Israeli Defense Forces, rhetorics that we hear from the United States, and you know that it's a poker game right now, while in Vienna they are reaching the final stage of the talks. If the talks will fail, and it looks like they will, America is considering a military option. So, Israeli Defense Minister ordered the military to get ready. The military is now checking the readiness of the civilian population. The U.S. is giving Israel a green light to begin military preparation. and the Prime Minister of Israel gave the Mossad the green light to begin everything we've been working for and prepared for that does not require military intervention on Iranian soil. Very, very interesting next few weeks here in this place, and not in Galilee per se, but I would say if I was an Iranian guard somewhere in the nuclear facilities there, I would be very scared right now.